fellas, how you going? So last weekend I went down to Sydney for a convention called Madfest. And at Madfest I presented a panel on finding your passion through cosplay and how cosplay can really help you give you an idea of what you want to really do with yourself in life. Now maybe you're stuck in a job doing something you really don't like for someone you really don't care about, or maybe you're just feeling a little bit lost, a little bit directionless, and you don't really know what you want to do with yourself in life right now. And maybe you're listening to something that your parents have suggested because they said, you know what, this is going to be a really good idea for you, but it's something you don't feel passionate about, and it's something that just doesn't resonate with you. If so, this panel is going to bring you a ton of value, help you kind of discover what your passions are, help you really think about what's truly authentic to you. It'll help you kind of think about any obstacles or any roadblocks that might prevent you from saying, hey, I really want to chase this thing. And it'll give you some ideas and help you really push yourself to execute upon things that'll get you just one step closer towards the goals that you really want to achieve in life. Sound good? Let's go. But what I do want people to do now, if you are watching, if you are listening, pull out your phone, don't play Tetris, pull out your phone and get on Instagram. I know everyone's going to have it, it's 2019. If you don't have it, you're lying. So get out your phone, just pull up Instagram for me, and go to mangalphantom, hit follow, but pull up the page of your favourite page, your favourite person, the person that whenever they post something you're like, I love it. I love when this person posts something, it makes me feel happy, it makes me feel like, oh, here's a bit of content to make my day a little bit more juicy, gives me a bit of that dopamine spike, makes my day a bit less boring. Take a look at them, look into their eyes, look at your favourite picture and be like, oh, I really like this person. And ask yourself, why do you like following this person? It could be anything from a cars page, it could be a celebrity you follow, it could be a cosplayer. Most of us it's going to be a cosplayer. And ask yourself, why is it that you like this person so much? What is it about the stuff that they post that makes you feel so happy, so energized every time you see it? It could be quite simply that, you like looking at cars. It could be quite simply that you like the lifestyle that this celebrity lives. And for the cosplayer, well, you might just like them because they're hot, and that's fine. But what's something that they've all got in common with each other is that they're all following what they love. They're all doing something that they're very passionate about. Maybe they do have a full-time job somewhere else, but their Instagram is filled with pictures of something that they love, and it's something that you've come to connect with as well. So, the question here is, what do you feel passionate about? What's something that makes you feel alive? It really tickles your balls, as they say. If you don't know what it is, I think a lot of us actually get to the point in which we feel, I don't know what it is. I don't actually feel passionate about anything. And we kind of just spend our time just drifting through life, trying to make each day go just a bit faster. Just get to the end of the workday. We live for Friday afternoon and the weekends. That's the time where we can get drunk, let loose, and forget about everything until when Monday comes around. But how many people actually wake up every day thinking, wow, it's a good day to be alive? I think most of us, we could probably agree, think, oh my God, I just want to go back to sleep. I just want to sleep a bit longer, don't have to go to uni, don't have to go to work, and hopefully the day will just go a bit faster. I mean, this was the same for me when I went to university. That's right, some of us went to university. We had a bit of an education, but regardless of the facts, I spent each day waking up thinking, oh my God, I just want to go back to sleep. And I wake up, have a bit of breakfast, eat something, it's like, a bit of food to get me started, but go to class. Didn't even shop to most classes because it wasn't something that I wanted to do. It wasn't something that made me feel alive. And I'd live, just like you, probably, for just going home, where I could do whatever I wanted. And for the most time, that was just soaking up a lot of anime, soaking up a lot of video games, just making that time go a bit faster so I could get to the end of the day where I could just indulge myself in not thinking, just zoning out. And that's what I lived for. And you probably see it in a lot of people today. It doesn't matter if you go to uni, you go to work, you go to school. A lot of people are not happy to be there. They don't want to be there. And you can see it in the eyes of somebody if they're really alive, if they're really doing something that they love doing. You can see it in their eyes. I'm looking at you right now. You just look dead inside. And that's the way it is for a lot of people. So you might think, God, what do I feel passionate about? Like, how do I get that passionate feeling? What is it? So the question here is, how do I actually get that feeling? And for a lot of us, it's going to be, I don't know what I'm passionate about. And a lot of times, that's social conditioning. We're all kind of raised to follow the rules, to say, oh, you know what? This is what you should follow. This is what's good for you. I mean, the best example is probably, for most of us, our parents. You probably had some dream, some little voice in your head, especially when you were younger. And that little voice is going, you know what? I really like drawing. I want to become an artist. Or, I really like music. I'm going to become a musician. And what do your parents say? That's a crap idea. That little voice in your head gets like, get out, get stuff back down. Don't talk to me again. And that's most of what we do. Any little voice in our head of what we really want to do gets shoved away, and we don't get the chance to think about it ever again. And it was the same for me. As a traditional weeb, I grew up watching anime, reading manga, and I wanted to become a manga artist. So I did a lot of art classes. I was very good at art, but come to the end of high school, going to uni, I told my parents, hey, I want to do an animation course. And what did they tell me? No. You're going to study business. That's what was going to get you a real job. So I studied business. And I hated it. It wasn't until many years later that changed. But for most of us, we do follow this lifestyle of being people pleasers, just pleasing people around us, particularly our parents. And we do that for most of our life, and it can get very, very difficult to get out of that mindset when that's all we've been doing our whole life. Because, say now you're saying, oh, I want to follow my passions. I've got time, I've got money, but what are my passions? That voice in your head gets harder to find the more it gets stuffed down. So this is where you really got to ask yourself. Sit down and think, what are you passionate about? What am I passionate about? What makes me feel alive? What makes me want to wake up? What makes me want to do something? At this point in time, you'll be like, oh, that's a really good question. Now think about it. If you've lost that feeling though, what is that feeling? Have you ever felt that feeling before? Very likely you have. I'll tell you where it is in a second, but for a lot of us, we're very stubborn creatures. It's going to be very difficult to kind of bring that up. And unfortunately, you really don't want to be a people pleaser because you will become a very, very angry person. How is that? Well, it's going to go like this. You say, all right, I did this to please my parents, but I feel angry at them that I didn't get the chance to do what I really wanted to do. And so you grow up miserable doing 9 to 5 in an accounting job. Everyone's dream, right? And then they get grumpy. You're just like, oh, you've got a good job. Why aren't you happy with it? You get grumpy at them, they get grumpy at you, and everyone's just grumpy at each other. You're going to become very, very regretful unless you actually find the time to do that, to follow your passion. But the question is, at this point in time, who actually has a passion here? Just a show of hands, like something that they know that they love. And who here has got no idea what their passion is? They're still trying to find it. There's nothing wrong with that. What you'll be looking for is a particular feeling. Something that says, you know what, I cannot wait to do this when I wake up. I cannot wait to do this every moment of my day. And it will come back to the topic of this panel, which is cosplay. A lot of us have done cosplay, or if you haven't done it yet, I urge you to try it. Because I think for a lot of us, doing cosplay for the very, very first time, we're all met with the very same feeling. You want every single bit of your costume to be absolutely perfect. You're going to spend copious amounts of money on this stupid little detail which no one's going to figure out. And you'll be staying up to 3, 4, 5 in the morning just to get the costume done. For no other reason than you actually just want to do it. Your parents didn't tell you to do it. They didn't say it was a good idea, but you just wanted to do it anyway. And you just did it because you wanted to do it. That feeling, that drive of just wanting to do something, that's the passion you're going to be looking for. Now, say you did have a passion, say you figured it out, so it's like, oh, you know what, that feeling in my head, I think I figured it out. Maybe it's something that you figured out. You're going to come across with some obstacles. Now these are things that have either been planted into your head by your parents, or it's something that society's brought up to you, or you've thought up yourself. Number one, which a lot of people come up with is, oh, I've got too many interests. I don't know which one to pursue. I like lots of things. Which one do I pursue? And we get stuck with it. And it's a pretty common theme. You know, it used to be as simple as back in the day of choosing ice cream. Chocolate or vanilla, take your pick. Well, that's pretty easy. How about now? Chocolate, vanilla, raspberry swirl, mint choc chip. There's a million flavors to choose from, and you start doubting yourself like, oh, what flavor do I want? And that's how a lot of us get stuck. So another social media plug here is you start following the people that you admire, and you say, oh, what do they like? I guess I like that too. It's the same thing with clothing, you know, you back in the 90s, I grew up in the 90s. Anyone here a 90s kid at all? You guys know what's up. In the 90s, it used to be all about R&B and hip hop, so the baggy pants, snapback caps, your big thug shoes, yeah, you know what it is. That was in, like, I didn't know what my fashion was when I was 6 years old, but I wanted fat shoes, I wanted loose pants, I wanted an oversized basketball jersey of a team I didn't even follow, that's fine. And then progressed to the mid-2000s. Who grew up in the 2000s?
We all did.
Everyone did, good. Back then, if you weren't about a teenager, there was a big emo phase. If anyone didn't know what that was about, it's all about ripped skinny jeans, Converse shoes, and Spider-Man 3, Peter Parker, and that infamous scene. But that was the thing that everyone likes doing. It's just, you didn't know what you liked, but oh, everyone else around me is doing it, so I'm gonna like it. So by this stage, we've got so many choices, we don't know what to pick, and we tend to follow, you know, people on Instagram or people online, celebrities, because they're very confident in their own design. They know what they like, they know what they're doing, and we like looking up to self-assured, confident people, kind of for inspiration. And it's fine, be inspired, but kind of take your own spin on it. Now, if you want to take just one piece of advice from me today, at all, it's going to be how to choose something. And it's going to be literally, put all your eggs in one basket. You might have heard that saying before, and your parents are going to say something like, oh, don't do that. Put all your eggs one basket at a time. No, you can't do that. Put all your eggs in one basket. Now, the big misconception here I think a lot of people get is, I'm going to pick the wrong basket and I'm screwed. Believe it or not, this is something that gets misconstrued very, very easily. What happens when you do put all your eggs into the wrong basket? All you have to do is pick up those eggs and put them in a different basket. That's it. You're not going to die if you pick the wrong basket. A lot of people think, oh, the worst thing I could possibly do is pick the wrong basket to put my eggs in. You don't lose those eggs. You just put them in a different one. You have to pick, you can either pick something or you don't pick something. And not picking something is the absolute worst thing you can do. So pick the wrong basket. At the very least, you know, you'll know one more thing. That's not what you're about. You know that this is not the thing for you. And hey, you're not going to die from it. You're not going to die from picking the wrong basket. And at the end, you'll have an epic story to tell. And that's what everyone wants in their life, isn't it? Just a good story, not, you know, went to high school, graduated, met my wife, got married, worked in an accountancy firm for 40 years, retired, bought a house and died. No, people want to hear the adventure. They want to say, oh man, I went to this job, worked in the Navy, went overseas, got shot at a few times. It's up and down, up and down. No one wants a life where it's just flat, everything's okay. That's boring. You want something, the contrast, the highs, the lows. You want your life to be a story. Put all your eggs in one basket. And by this stage, if you're thinking, oh God, like, okay, I want to commit to something, but I still can't choose. Ask yourself 3 questions to kind of just think about. First one's going to be, what if you died in a year? Would you still be doing exactly what you're going to do now? I don't think it's going to be like that for many people. The second thing is, what would you do if it didn't actually matter if you made it or not? You know, you weren't making it to the top, it didn't matter, you just do what you wanted to do. And the third thing is, what would you do if it didn't matter about the money that you made or not? Something to think about. But that's also the second obstacle which a lot of people encounter. It's, I can't follow my passion because it's not going to make me money. And I think it's a very reasonable thing to assume, and I think it's a lot of parents get worried about. But if you're creative, as you know, you are creative, you are adaptable, you will find some way to make it work. And for the most part, there's not just one way of doing things. As the world evolves, as the internet gets bigger, you're going to find more and more ways of making those things happen. For example, For me, following my passion, right now it is doing cosplay, talking to people, presenting on a stage. It gets me pumped. It gets my heart beating. It gets me very excited to just be talking to people. And is it different from drawing manga? Yes, it is. But it fills, for me, the same personal needs that I would have gotten if I was doing drawing manga, just in a very different way. I get to create things. I get to write up a script, try and memorize it over the last 2 or 3 days that I wrote it on the plane, come here and try to present it. The same way as writing up a story, writing up a script. I get to express myself in a very particular way, the same way that I could do with the manga. I very much get to tell a story, or I get to show off my creativity in a very different way, but it's still fulfilling those same needs that got that burning passion in me from the start, just putting it in a different perspective. And by all means, go all out. Go all out. Do everything you need to do to make whatever you want to do work in whatever way possible. There's only one time you can do it, and that's now. As you get older, the more you say, oh, I just want to play the safe card, just want to work my life, live my job, raise a family, you're going to have more and more responsibilities. It will get harder and harder and harder. So there is no better time than where you are right now. Which will take you to the third, and probably the biggest obstacle that I think a lot of people face is the judgment. The judgments that you'll feel from other people, especially from your parents. They're the ones that are going to be telling you, oh, that's a crap idea. Oh, don't do that. Oh, that's not going to make you any money. The question you need to ask yourself is, once you have found your passion, you found that burning desire to do what you really want to do with your life, but the people who are supposed to support you the most, your parents, say, don't do it, that's terrible, you're going to die. You need to ask yourself this one very, very important question, which is, would you be okay living a life, at least for a while, where you didn't get along well with your parents? In fact, they hated you to some degree, they disowned you, you had no contact with them, and they didn't support you. It's a very, very harsh kind of answer, but the answer should be yes. You should be okay with that. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to hate your parents, but if you really want to do what makes you feel alive every single day, rather than just existing, just letting each day go by, if you want to live a life of your own design, live on your terms, this should come before everything else. Your passion, your goals, your drives, your desires should become before anything. Now, at the moment I'm on good terms with my parents, don't get me wrong, but there was a time in which it wasn't like that. I used to work as a public servant for the government. You know, if everyone doesn't know what government work is, it's very stable, very well paying, very boring work. And I felt so uninspired, so bored, and over time I literally just stopped showing up to work and I lost my job. I told that to my parents. I don't know if anyone's got Asian parents, but if you tell your parents you lost your government job, that's the end of it for you. We weren't on good speaking terms for a very long time after that. But I did start to do the things that I found, for me, meant a lot. It's stuff that made me feel very happy. It's stuff that made me feel very inspired. And whenever I did get the chance to visit and talk to them, they could tell I was a very different person just by doing the things that I wanted to do. And in the long run, even if it's for a period of time in which your parents don't agree with you, like if you've got the best parents in the world, which I hope everyone does, no matter what you pick, they'll support you, which is great. But for whatever period of time that you are not in contact with them, in the long run, they will actually respect you more. You might think, how the hell is that possible? Well, if you follow what you want to do, you show that what you're doing is true to you. It's authentic to yourself. It's what actually makes you feel like you want to be alive every day. They're going to talk about it. They're going to think about it. They'll be like, you know what? He is chasing something. She is chasing something. They are chasing something which really makes them happy. And I respect them for, saying no to me and doing what they want to do. That shows how much they've grown and that they are their own person. And for the most part, your relationship with them will be a lot better than it ever was. But don't be angry at your parents, whatever you do, for saying, oh, I don't like it. I don't like what they're doing. Of course, they're just worried about you. They're just saying, oh, you want to what? Be a public speaker? You want to do cosplay? Like, what kind of job is that? Like, do you make any money out of it? No. How many people following you at the moment? I don't know. How are you planning to grow any of that? I don't know. they're just going to, obviously, they want to protect you. They want to say anything that's going to say, look, don't go. If you go, we're going to disown you. Say anything to make you want to stay on the safe side of the line. But you really have to be able to live life to your own design at that point in time to do what you want to do. And in that case, you're going to be able to make a much better case of where you want to go. Drawing this back to the actual theme of the panel itself, how cosplay can actually help you find your passion. If you've cosplayed, in some weird way, you've actually overcome all of those obstacles already. First one of not knowing what to pick, what to do, well, you could have picked from a million costumes, you picked one, you stuck with it, and you pushed through. You're able to make a decision because of that. Second one, in which you're not going to make any money out of it. Let's be real, cosplay's not going to make you any money. It's going to cost you a lot of things, in fact. But you did anyway because that's what was authentic to you. And the third thing, well, let's be real here. How many people's parents actually said, wow, cosplay, that's an awesome hobby? Oh, we got two people. You guys are great parents. Mine were like, what? Cosplay? You're a boy. Why do you want to wear makeup and wigs and dress up on the weekends? Like, for most people, that's what it would be. But you pushed through it anyway. You said, I don't care what I want to do. That's what I want to do. Now, I think for a lot of people, it's going to be do that. Make sure you rebel against your parents. Say stuff you, don't say stuff you, mum, but do things that you really want to do regardless of what your parents say, because you should be able to live a life without anyone telling you how to direct it. Now, this is going to be probably one of the last thoughtful things I'll get you to do, and it will be probably a bit more thought-provoking than anything else. A little bit dark. But the three most motivational words I've ever heard is from a lovely man called Gary V, or Gary Vaynerchuk. I don't know if anyone follows some of his work, but his three most motivational words, actually made an impact on me, was this: you're gonna die. As dark as it is, a lot of people are very scared of the thought. We don't know what's going to happen to us. We don't know where we're going to go. We don't know when we're going to go. But being able to just sit with that thought thinking, wow, I don't actually know when my time's going to come. It could be next year. It could be next week. It could be today. I could go outside, get hit by a taxi, and that's the end of it. The last thing I did was present up on stage for a bunch of people. But the more you fathom it, the more you think, I don't actually have the time to waste not doing what I want to do. You're going to think, wow, I actually want to go out and make the cosplay. I actually want to go out and be a musician. I actually want to go out and talk to that pretty girl that I never got to talk to. You know, want to go and do all of these things. And the more you kind of come to terms with it, the more you're going to want to be driven. And unfortunately, you will run into a lot of people, especially, I think, friends, society in particular, which will be against you. So say you had a particular drive, a particular desire, a particular dream. Some people can be very bitter about it, and that's just an unfortunate fact. For example, you've got a father. Say you had a dad who was very interested in drawing, very interested in artwork, and they see you pursuing the same thing. And, you know, they decide to make the conscious choice to sacrifice their dreams. They could raise you and raise a family. And they see you kind of pursuing the same thing. Of course, it's going to sting a little bit for them, and it's not going to make them feel very good. They're going to feel a bit hurt by it. And I think it comes to a similar thing for your friends. Big example is, I guess, with weight loss. If you are, you're somewhat overweight, and your friends are overweight too, and all of a sudden they see, oh look, he's eating healthier, he's exercising, he's drinking kombucha, like, he's getting better, but it's making me feel bad about myself. I don't want to exercise. Hey, you should stop exercising. Come and be fat with us. Stop making me feel so bad about it. Eat the Big Mac. And the big one is obviously in society itself. You see a lot of people in their jobs. I think the statistic is something remorseful, like 85% of people don't love their work. Who here is actually in a job which they love doing what they do? And who here is in the job because it's a job? It would be most people, unfortunately. And if you're working that 9-to-5 job and they're obviously not following their passions, they're jealous and bitter or whatever it might be, they see you pursuing what you want to do, you'll see a lot of people going, oh, get a real job, do what you should be doing for society. Conform, eat that Big Mac. That's what a lot of people are going to want to say to you. But at this point in time, you should probably be understanding the message here. It really is live life to your own design, because the more that you live for other people, the less time you're actually going to have to live for yourself. So that should be the thing that you really focus on. Finding your passion, overcoming those obstacles, and being able to push past every bit of doubt that comes past your way to be able to pursue it. Now, unfortunately, it is something that's, this talk today is only going to resonate with maybe a few people that you're actually going to be able to execute on and do something about it. Because to actually, realize how much time that you've got left or do what you want to do, it does require a bit of a life-changing event. We are stubborn creatures. It's hard to break old habits of just being content. But whatever you do, you go out of your comfort zone, you will find a way back to where you are right now. Right now is comfortable. You've got a job? Yeah, sure. You can always find your way back to that job. You're not going to burn any boats by pursuing what you want to do. You're always going to be able to find it. So that's the last closing message, I guess it would be, is there's going to be a big difference between pursuing something that you really love and living a life where you're not pursuing something. You're just kind of diddly-daddling on every day. If you are pursuing something that you truly connect with, that feels truly authentic to you every day, no matter how bad that day is, say I'm writing a script, I'm talking to a crowd of 2 people, no one's listening, it doesn't even matter to me, because what I'm doing is something that I feel passionate about, something that I love to do. A day like that is always, always, always going to feel so much better than a day in which I'm pursuing something which is not authentic to me. Say I had the best anime in the world, air-conditioned room, someone feeding me snacks, and such a wonderful, luscious day. The day in which I'm grinding, 2 people listening, a script I don't even consider a good one, doing something like that is going to feel so, so, so much better than any day which you're not working on yourself. So, look, hopefully this is kind of just helps you think about things. It's not going to change your life, but hopefully it'll just tickle your mind a little bit. Think about what your passions are. Think about hopefully pursuing them in some way. And hopefully it really does. I love seeing people just chasing what's authentic to them. So, look, thanks for hanging around, guys. If you're just here for a nice sit, thanks for sitting down. Appreciate it.